In the vast, silent expanse of time, before the written word, before empires, before metal, lay an age of stone. This was the dawn of humanity, a period stretching across millennia where our earliest ancestors walked the earth. Their existence was a stark, unwritten story of survival, a daily dance with the raw, untamed forces of nature. In this prehistoric world, life was both fragile and resilient, entirely dependent on the resources that the land provided. The air was cleaner, the stars brighter, and the world was a canvas of dense forest, sprawling savannas, and icy tundras. For these early humans, the key to navigating this challenging landscape, to securing a foothold in the great chain of being, was not brute strength alone, but ingenuity. It was the ability to look at a simple, unyielding piece of rock and see within it the potential for a tool, a weapon, and the very foundation of civilization. This is the story of that journey, a testament to how the humble stone tool became the single most important instrument in the epic of human survival, shaping our destiny from the very beginning. The chronicle of human ingenuity begins with the purposeful fracture of a rock. The earliest stone tools, known as the Oldowan industry, were deceptively simple, often little more than river cobbles with a few flakes chipped off to create a sharp, jagged edge. To an untrained eye, they might be indistinguishable from naturally broken stones. Yet, these core choppers and sharp flakes represented a monumental cognitive leap. They were the physical manifestation of foresight and planning. An early hominin, perhaps Homo habilis picked up one stone to strike another, not by accident, but with a clear purpose, to create an edge capable of slicing through tough animal hides, butchering a carcass to access nutrient-rich meat and marrow, or cracking open hard nuts and shells that were otherwise inedible. This was the first revolution. For the first time, our ancestors were not just using objects they found. They were manufacturing them, modifying their environment to suit their needs. This fundamental act of creation set humanity on a new and extraordinary trajectory, providing a crucial advantage in the constant struggle for sustenance, and marking the first chapter in our species' long and complex relationship with technology. As millennia bled into one another, the minds of our ancestors grew more complex, and their hands more skilled. This evolution of thought is etched into the very fabric of the stone tools they left behind. The simple Oldowan choppers gradually gave way to the more sophisticated and symmetrical Acheulean hand axes. These bifacial tools, often shaped like a teardrop or an almond, were not just functional. They were objects of deliberate design, showcasing a remarkable understanding of material properties and a sense of aesthetics. The creator, likely Homo erectus would have had to hold the mental template of the final product in their mind, carefully and patiently chipping away at a piece of flint or quartzite, turning it over and over to achieve the desired shape and sharpness. This process required dozens, sometimes hundreds, of precise strikes. The hand axe was the Swiss Army knife of the Paleolithic, an all-purpose tool used for butchering large game, digging for edible roots and tubers, stripping bark from trees, and perhaps even as a projectile. The consistency of their design across vast geographical areas from Africa to Europe and Asia suggests that the techniques for making them were not reinvented each time but were taught and passed down through generations, forming the basis of early cultural transmission and technological tradition. The arc of innovation continued its upward climb, reaching new heights with the Mousterian industry, most famously associated with the Neanderthals. This period saw the development of the level-wa technique, a truly advanced method of tool production that has been likened to peeling a potato. It was a multi-step process that involved meticulously preparing a stone core to a specific convex shape. Then, with a single decisive strike, a perfectly formed flake of a predetermined size and shape could be detached. This was manufacturing with a blueprint. It was efficient, conserving raw material and producing consistently sharp, thin, and versatile flakes that could then be further refined or retouched into a diverse toolkit of specialized instruments. There were spear points for hunting, scrapers for preparing animal hides, borers for drilling into wood or bone, and knives for delicate cutting tasks. This diversification of tools demonstrates an increasingly nuanced understanding of specific needs and a greater capacity for abstract thought and complex problem-solving. Each tool had a designated purpose, reflecting a more organized and specialized approach to the challenges of daily life and survival in the harsh, fluctuating climates of the Ice Age. Survival in the Stone Age was a relentless and unforgiving endeavor, a life lived on the edge, dictated by the rhythm of the seasons and the migration of animals. Our ancestors were nomadic, constantly on the move, following the herds and seeking out new territories rich in plants, water, and shelter. Their existence was a testament to adaptability. A pivotal moment in this journey was the mastery of fire. Initially harvested from natural sources like lightning strikes, the ability to control and eventually create fire was a game-changer of immense proportions. Fire provided warmth against the biting cold of glacial nights, allowing humans to colonize colder climates and expand their range across the globe. It offered protection, keeping nocturnal predators at bay and creating a safe, illuminated space in the encroaching darkness. Perhaps most importantly, it revolutionized their diet. Cooking food not only made it easier to chew and digest, but also unlocked vital nutrients and killed harmful bacteria, contributing to better health and supporting the development of a larger, more energy-demanding brain. This newfound control over a powerful natural force fundamentally altered the human experience, transforming the night from a time of fear into a time for community, storytelling, and social bonding. Beyond the hearth, survival depended on shelter and protection from the elements. Early humans were opportunistic, making their homes in naturally occurring rock shelters in the mouths of caves, which offered a stable defense against wind, rain, and predators. The accumulated layers of ash from ancient fires, discarded animal bones, and lost tools found in these caves provide archaeologists with an invaluable record of prehistoric life, a layered storybook of occupations spanning thousands of years. In open landscapes where caves were scarce, our ancestors constructed their own shelters. These were often simple, temporary structures made from a framework of wooden branches or large mammoth bones, covered with animal hides, interwoven branches, or sod. These primitive dwellings were a shield against the elements, a private space for rest, and a focal point for family life. To survive the cold, clothing was essential. Using sharp stone scrapers to clean and prepare animal hides and pointed awls to punch holes, they fashioned simple garments, cloaks, and footwear. These were not fashion statements but vital pieces of survival technology, insulating the body and enabling our ancestors to endure the brutal winters of the Ice Age, pushing the boundaries of human habitation ever further. The harsh realities of the prehistoric world necessitated a profound sense of community and cooperation. A lone human was vulnerable, but a group working together could achieve remarkable feats. The hunt for large game like mammoths, bison, or woolly rhinos was a dangerous and complex operation that required a coordinated effort from many individuals. Some might be responsible for driving the animal towards a cliff or a trap, while others, armed with stone-tipped spears, would move in for the final perilous attack. Success meant a bounty of meat that could feed the entire group for weeks, as well as hides for clothing and shelter, and bones for tools and structures. Failure could mean starvation or death. This interdependence was the glue that held their societies together, fostering strong social bonds and reinforcing the importance of the collective over the individual. Within these early bands, roles were likely divided based on age, gender, and ability, with everyone contributing to the group's overall welfare, whether through hunting, gathering edible plants, caring for the young, or crafting tools. This burgeoning social complexity gave rise to the first stirrings of culture and symbolic thought. Buried deep within the caves of Europe and scattered across rock faces around the world, our ancestors left behind a breathtaking legacy: the first art. Using pigments made from charcoal, ochre, and other minerals, they painted vivid images of the animals that dominated their world: horses, bison, lions, and mammoths, often depicted with stunning naturalism and a sense of movement. They also carved intricate figurines like the famous Venus statues and engraved abstract patterns onto bone and stone. The precise meaning of this art is lost to time, but it speaks of a mind capable of more than just survival. It may have been part of shamanistic rituals to ensure a successful hunt, a way of recording stories and myths, or simply an expression of awe and reverence for the natural world. Whatever its purpose, this art is a clear sign that our ancestors possessed a rich inner life and a capacity for abstract and symbolic thinking. This ability was also crucial for the sharing of knowledge. The complex skills required to make a level wafflake or track a herd of migrating deer could not be learned by instinct alone. They had to be taught, passed down from one generation to the next through observation, imitation, and perhaps even a form of rudimentary language, ensuring the cumulative growth of human knowledge and culture. As the last great ice age drew to a close around 12,000 years ago, the world began to change. Glaciers retreated, temperatures rose, and forests expanded, altering the landscapes and the ecosystems our ancestors had known for millennia. The giant herds of the Paleolithic dwindled or disappeared, forcing human populations to adapt once again. This period of transition, the Late Stone Age or Neolithic, witnessed the single most profound transformation in human history: the invention of agriculture. Instead of chasing their food, people began to cultivate it. In various parts of the world, from the Fertile Crescent to China and the Americas, communities started to experiment with planting and harvesting wild grasses like wheat and barley, and domesticating animals like goats, sheep, and cattle. This shift from a nomadic, hunter-gatherer lifestyle to a settled, agricultural one was revolutionary. It provided a more stable and predictable food source, allowing for the support of larger populations. For the first time, people began to build permanent settlements, the first villages with sturdy houses made of mud brick, wood, and stone. This new, sedentary way of life had far-reaching consequences. Farming was labor-intensive, and the need to manage land, store surpluses, and organize communal projects led to new social structures and hierarchies. The concept of private property emerged, along with new challenges like crop failure, disease, and conflict over resources. The stone toolkit adapted to these new realities. Polished stone axes were developed to clear forest for farmland. Sickle blades made of flint were used to harvest grains, and grinding stones became essential for processing cereals into flour. While stone remained the primary material for tools, this period also saw the beginnings of pottery for storing food and water, and weaving for creating textiles. The Neolithic Revolution was not an overnight event but a gradual process that unfolded over thousands of years. It set the stage for the rise of towns, then cities, and ultimately, the complex civilizations of the ancient world. It was the final, transformative act of the Stone Age, a period that saw humanity move from being a product of the environment to becoming a shaper of it, from a simple fractured pebble to a polished axe that could fell a tree. The story of the stone tool is the story of humanity itself. These were not just inert objects, they were extensions of the human hand and, more importantly, the human mind. They were the keys that unlocked new food sources, the shields that defended against a hostile world, and the catalyst for social and cognitive evolution. Each innovation in stone tool technology, from the first crude chopper to the precisely crafted Levallois flake, represented a victory of intellect over instinct, of planning over chance. These tools enabled our ancestors to survive, to adapt, and to thrive across every corner of the planet, in conditions we can barely imagine today. They fueled the growth of our brains, fostered cooperation and the birth of culture, and laid the groundwork for the agricultural revolution that would change the face of the earth forever. The legacy of the Stone Age is written not in books, but in the enduring, silent testament of stone. It is a profound reminder that the entire complex edifice of modern civilization is built upon the foundation of these first, humble tools and the incredible ingenuity of the ancestors who learned to make them, paving the way for all that was to come.